Oh crap, it's starting. Oh.
Please.
Welcome, friends.
Please warn
At this
me.
rate, you might as well come up to the front.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Welcome
You
to the
will
panel.
be called on.
Okay,
No.
don't scare them. We love to engage. We're not trying to make you afraid of us.
So real quick, we're trying to workshop an idea. We were thinking for this panel that we would show up 14 minutes into it because, you know, class, like, you can get off as long as the professor's 15 minutes late. So we thought about showing up 14 minutes, that way everyone will wait. Didn't know that would work.
It was okay joke. It was okay.
Shut up, I know it wasn't a good joke.
I'm gonna like.
I give you a 0 out of 10.
That was really loud.
Yeah.
These Xbox mics.
It's just the Xbox Live.
I'm gonna synchronize timers in a minute. Oh crap.
Hey everybody! Oh my God, my two favorite humans.
Wow, I've never seen these individuals before.
I know. I was talking to you guys.
Are we like the only two people here you don't know?
No. There's a
You're four.
This is
Four.
our fan
Four.
base.
These are the people that we know. These are the new guys.
I told you I was coordinating a lot.
Don't
Nice to see
worry.
I'm running this panel. Nice to see why we did this. Like,
I see a box in this man's hands.
I'm starting a stopwatch as soon as we start.
I mean, we've got some time.
Yeah, I mean, when it goes, I'm starting to stopwatch just
Yeah.
to track us. Oh, I asked. So I asked. There's a 30-minute gap between our panel and next.
My jaw hurts. Sorry.
As long as if we go over, don't
Try
go
not to go too far, but
15 minutes from about their cutoff. So
I'd say that's a pretty good place.
welcome, friend.
I can model all day. Hello. Welcome. Please. No sitting in the back. No.
Yeah,
no, come forward.
You can't get out of this one. Like,
We are here to engage. Oh my God, we get freaking bored. Oh wait, wrap up the beginning.
cool.
We wrap up the beginning. All right, guys, thank you for coming.
One more time. Cool.
Wait, is it panel time?
All right, we had 11:29. Just start now. Good to go? Yeah. All right, sweet. Okay, that's awesome.
sweet.
All right, so starting the timer now. Good to go. All right. Hi, everybody. How are we doing today? Good. Thank you so much. Oh, are you showing us? Okay, cool. So, all right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Founding You, creating a college nerd club and community that will last for a lifetime. My favorite title I think we've ever come up with, anything we've done. A couple quick introductions to get through. My name is Nathan Sims. I just graduated from Salisbury University with a bachelor's in computer science. I'm currently working as a technologist for a contracting company. And I founded a club on my university called the SU Indies, Salisbury University's independent game development club. And just for fun, if there's a game I could play over and over forever until I die, it would be Splunky HD.
Well, that's way more intense than what you said. You just said desert island game, not to play it over and over till we die.
We were playing it this morning, so anyway, go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, hey guys. My name is Grace Burton. I'm currently a student at Salisbury University for a Bachelor's of Science, hopefully in computer science. I've been an orientation leader, so that means I know how to make people uncomfortable. So sorry if you're not used to that. And I'm currently the SU Indies president. Woo! Woo! And my desert island game, not the one I would play over and over till I die, because that would be a totally different game, is Fire Emblem Awakening. Yep, good choice. Yep.
Hey, I'm Eli Rush. I am not a president or anything like that, but I am a student of international political economics, quite the mouthful. But I am the SU Esports, which is another club on Salisbury campus, and I am their event organizer. So I kind of handle all the big in-house events from tournaments to just hanging out and playing games. I also didn't know I was supposed to play this game till I died. So apparently I'm playing Stardew Valley until I die, but
Hey, the new season came
I'll
out.
take it.
Hey.
So here's what we want to do with this panel. We have about an hour's worth of time and a lot of information we want to cover. But given that we knew this was a later panel and we knew it was like first day, we wanted to be sure that we wanted to err this on the side of I guess a bit more conversational. So we've got our slides we're going to talk through, but please feel free at any point if you have questions or anything. We're doing this because we want to bring this information to more people. We're bringing experience that we have to the table, and we want to share that with others so we can bring these clubs about in more college campuses. Today, the first thing we're going to mainly go over is bare basics, bare minimum, if you don't have these, you're not quite ready to start a club yet. And then how to get them, and we'll talk about that a little bit. We're gonna talk about like actually running the dang thing, because like it's not just enough to have like a constitution and an advisor and people like what are you gonna do for the meetings? Like we'll talk about that for a little bit. And then we felt the best way to share this is through some of our own experiences. So then we'll talk about just some more advice and tips we have. But the main way we're going to do that is we'll show you a lot of what we have done with our meetings, so in hopes it'll spark inspiration for you guys for ways that you can bring that back to your own college campuses to try and work with that and build something from it. Sound good? So if you have questions at any point, like at this point, we all friends, getting to know each other, please feel free to raise your hand. And of course, we can always answer questions at the end. Cool? So that being said, let's go through legalese. First off, we do represent our organizations, us representing the SU Indies, and Eli representing SU Indies and SU Esports. Represent ourselves, represent our own personal views and our own experience. We don't represent quite literally anybody else. We say this just to be clear, technically we don't represent the views of Salisbury University. I don't represent my job. This is us sharing our own personal experiences as far as running a club or organization. That is not to scare anyone. It's not going to be like some wild stuff. We're going to not crazy truce, but for the record, we just wanted to state that. And also, your mileage may vary. Every college campus is different. Anyone who's been to their friend's college campus and like even their different major can probably tell you that. So again, we'll try and make it as general as we can, but know that you might have to bend things in your own personal way. Cool? So, all right. First question. Why should you start a club? So first out the gate, who here's here because they like have a club they want to start or build in some way? Show of hands. Cool, that's the two, that's sweet. So who here is at least interested in like, let's start with who's on a college campus right now? Sweet, okay, cool. And I guess, and who's involved in some kind of nerd activity, nerd club, video games, anime, movie, anything like that on their campus? All right, cool, good poll. So for starting a club, first and foremost, it is a great way to build your resume. And as someone who just graduated and had to do the job search in the last semester, I can say definitively anything you can do to add to your resume, especially that shows that you take initiative, that you can take a leadership standpoint, that you can work with others and do a lot of the other things that we'll get to in a hot few minutes. It does a lot to really make you stand out from other candidates, which I don't think I have to tell anyone else in our generation how like deck is kind of stacked against us. It also helps you build interest in the thing that you like. You sometimes don't know how many people on your campus will like the thing that you're going to show to them, and sometimes they don't know that either until like you start it and then their friend brings them like, oh, this is cool, and then they start coming, and then they bring two friends, and they bring two friends, and they bring two friends, and then it's not a pyramid scheme, but it sounds like one.
No, it's a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, exactly.
We do invest. We do take your money. It's
Yeah,
not like
we do.
For events. As you can tell, as especially the 5 people in the room who notice this cluster here, 6 people in the room now that I'm counting, it builds friendships. We'll also dig on that a lot, but a lot of the people who are even in this room are people who like met us through the clubs and organizations that we've run and started, obviously met each other through the clubs and organizations we started, and like, here we are traveling to MAGFest together and hanging out and still bringing this forward. So it's a really good way to bring not just other people together, but also to bring friends to you. And then of course, this is kind of a personal one for me. It's a really good way to build your legacy. I get to go back to my college campus periodically and see that like my club is still, it's only a semester, but like my club is still going strong and there are still people here and the culture I built and then I worked with all of our officers and all of our members to build is still going strong, and like that's a lot more than a piece of paper. And so through doing something like this, you can build that. So worked so hard on this. So let's say you want to make a super awesome club. Cool. That's your starting point. You don't know what it is. You want to make something really cool, right? And you know that when you graduated, when you've retired, you want to be able to like sit down on your farm and look across a proud legacy and a thankful galaxy. But in order for that to happen, there's one thing you very clearly need to start with.
And murder.
And that's a vision.
Vision.
And, all the work on the presentation went into that slide there. So let's talk about a vision, and in particular, let's start with the most exciting words we could have, and that is a mission statement. So if you're starting a club, one of the first things that you need is a mission statement. I don't say this from the legal standpoint. I know we have worked on our mission statement like a lot.
A lot.
I know
We've hashed it out.
Yeah.
On the esports side.
So if anything, I feel like we should start on the bottom bullet point. You can change it as time goes by. But the idea is you want to create a statement that is concise enough that like you can put it in a bullet point, as might happen later, and that will clearly communicate like, what is your club? What does it do? If you meet someone on campus, if you go to an event like this and you end up talking to some like cool developer or voice actor or something and ask them you're networking with them, trying to tell them about what you do. I don't want to use the term elevator pitch because
I was literally just thinking that.
I mean, it really is an
really
elevator pitch.
yeah, it really is.
Or like a thesis statement.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to talk about papers.
Yeah, like it really, but thesis statement, summary, yeah, the first paragraph of your 5-paragraph essay, like whatever you call it.
Stop.
It needs to have that. And the reason being is you will find that in doing this, everything you're going to do moving forward in designing your club and building your club and running your club will come back to this mission statement. Like when in doubt, look at your mission statement if you don't know what to do, and it will guide you the rest of the way. So that being said, the reason I pulled you all up to the front of the room is I want to know some of our club ideas. So my man, oh my God.
Caden.
Thank you.
Caden.
I got you, Caden.
Caden.
So my man Caden,
Hi, Caden.
you want to start a club?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So while George Mason has a game interest club, it doesn't have a game design club per se. And Mason has a very strong computer science game design program in it. So I want to start a game design club.
Awesome. Anyway, I know it was one of you two. Thank you. Cool. What do you want to make?
So I go to CCBC Essex in Baltimore, and I kind of want to make something it's kind of like a game development / game like review.
Oh.
But I mean,
That sounds familiar
college
too.
doesn't really have any clubs like that.
So you're here because you want to try and start one.
First of its kind.
Hey.
Awesome. That's excellent. Anyone else have a club they're looking to get started? It doesn't have to be a nerd club. Sweet. So if you have
talk about our club.
so I hear 2 game development and game review clubs. Here's what we came up with. So the purpose of Salisbury University's independent game development club, the SU Indies, shall be to provide a space for students of all backgrounds to collaborate and learn about the art and practice of game design. It shall be a place where students can share the lessons they learn and express the ideas they have with each other and the greater Salisbury student body at large through the games that they create. That, as short as I could make it,
But fancy.
yeah, and like run through all amount of copy, but like, how well does it reflect what we do? Well, this is our club. This is the SU Indies. So again, we're the independent game development club. The vision we generally had was to try and connect people who were interested in game development, no matter what their major was, because we had a lot of computer science students, and to connect computer science students with art students, and with students who were good at writing, and students who were good at marketing, and students who were good at audio design. But the idea was to make it so that you had a community of people who, even if they were all interested in different things, if they shared a love of games and were interested in making games, they could bring that together to, I can program well, and like a Reese's Pieces, like, you got my chocolate and your peanut butter. Like, you could play that game and like maybe get some candy too. Like that's that got off on a tangent, but like that was the goal we wanted.
But that's the best combination, chocolate and peanut butter.
I mean, like, I'm
vanilla
allergic,
and
so
peanut
actually that
butter.
doesn't work. But
For you, it doesn't work, but
we also wanted to facilitate discussion about game development and game design. In particular, I noticed that, I don't have to tell, I think anyone here, there's a lot of armchair development that goes on the internet of like, oh man, if they had just done this, the game would have been perfect, and like they threw microtransactions in and it like ruined the whole game, which sometimes is legit, but like, if they like really this cut, like if they didn't cut out these levels, it would have made the whole thing perfect, or like I found that there was a lot of that discussion online, but a lot of it was armchair development. And it wasn't without knowing, so I sought to bring, a more educated point of view through at least discussion and considering those ideas. And then, of course, we wanted to inspire people to create new games and to empower people to feel like they could create games.
Oh, hey, this is me. So SU Esports, just for those to kind of say, for us, we knew the SU Indies were already a club. We knew a lot of other different types of gaming clubs were on campus, but we were like, well, we love games, but we want to be more competitive. We like our League of Legends, we like our Hearthstone, we like our StarCraft 2, our Overwatch. We love all those types of competitive games, but we don't have an option on campus. So we decided to come up with the SU Esports. And the purpose of SU Esports shall be to create an environment that offers students the opportunity to compete against others in their favorite esports, along with providing them with the resources necessary to not only compete in tournaments, but also to better themselves. So we want to make sure that we help improve as well as offer the opportunities. So that's basically what we do. We organize tournaments, both in-house and out-of-house, using programs like TESPA and BattleFi. Those are both very well-used programs to organize outward play against other universities. We have been starting to host streams. Recently we held a big 24-hour live stream in collaboration with your very own SU Indies, which was, I heard, a smashing success, as always. But we also want to discuss games and the development of esports in general and the growth of it. So what's the impact on a college campus? What might be the impact in a college setting? And what's the future of it? Is there a possibility that esports might be in the Olympics? Is there a possibility that esports might be seen more on ESPN and other sports networks? So that's kind of what we discuss here at esports, and I think our mission statement pretty much summarizes that up pretty well.
So let's go over some basic requirements. This is probably one of the most important. Oh my God, get yourself an officers, as many as you can. So we'll talk a bit more about being a president and running your own organization. But the thing to note is all of these, most of those are...
No, it's all of them.
all of those are hats that until, I don't want to use the hat analogy, but like until you find someone else to put on that hat, you wear that hat. So like when I first started SU Indies, it was just me. So I was president, vice president, treasurer. I handled our marketing. I handled like recording everything, getting all our pictures, any events we did, like all of that fell onto me because no one else. Like the club had at most about 8 members consistently, and a lot of them weren't willing to commit to the responsibility of an officer position. So like you guys have been fortunate by having officers out the gate.
Yeah, we were fortunate. My buddy Gerald, he decided to found the club, and so he came up with me. He's like, "Hey, you wanna found this club?" I'm like, "I guess so. Thanks for forcing me into this." So I founded the club with him, and we had another buddy, Alexander, and all of us decided to just pick a role, I guess. I mean, we just kind of did everything. We just kind of split it up equally, but yeah.
Like it's really, Grace, you can talk about my weakness. It's really.
I mean, I wouldn't call it a weakness so much as it was something hard to let go of. Since Nathan was our founder, one of his, not shortcomings or weaknesses, but one of his drawbacks, I would say, because I don't want to say weakness is too strong. He did a lot of the work by himself. And, I mean, he would take on marketing stuff. He would be communicating with our student leadership organization, our government basically, and bargaining with them. We have people to do that. Nathan is just, he tries really, really hard. He puts his heart and soul into this club.
In my defense, I made my girlfriend do the marketing for a while.
All right, fair. But it's something your officers really need to do. You got to distribute this work. You got to give out the hats. You can't be that weird guy with all the baseball hats, all climbing up the head.
You can't be H3, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. And you're gonna want to do it because you're passionate about it. Like when you get something and you start something, you're building a community. You don't want to give it away, and you want to make it happen. You want everything to be perfect. So the tendency is to take charge, but it's a real thing. And so these are just suggestions and ideas of officers, but there could be more that aren't reflected on here. In particular, president needs to run everything. President will have your hands in everything, even if you have the officers for it. You oversee everything, you approve everything, you represent your club. Vice president, president-elect, however you go with it, needs to be learning from the president and also helping the president by putting their hands into everything. Treasurer, your money person, marketing exec, if you're trying to run events, if you're trying to do your recruiting, that becomes a full-time job quick. Webmaster and historian, you need someone taking pictures and recording everything you do, and you need someone who's gonna post it online, which is also a job in itself. If you do events all the time frequently, planning those out and being sure you have reservations made for everything, talk to any of the staff here, I'm sure they'll tell you, running an event is not cake, especially when you have a bunch of things to juggle. That takes time when you're juggling a school schedule in there as well. Tournament organizer for if you're doing anything competitive. And then this one was personal to us, but sometimes the regulations of your school, you might need a representative for student government. We had one as well. And then chief executive in charge of coming up with names for fake officer positions, and chief executive in charge of crossing out fake officer positions are fun ones.
No, they're very important. I mean, I have to do that every day. I mean, you don't understand the stress it puts on me.
You also need an advisor. With almost every university is going to want this, and the reason being is because they want someone who they want a grown-up who's going to be liable for what your club does. But don't just find literally any professor. Try and find someone who believes in your club. You really want to find someone who, if you're able to, who sees what you're doing and wants you guys to succeed as much as possible. A good advisor is going to be a phenomenal resource, especially when you're starting out, especially when you don't have officers. A good advisor can tell you, what kind of approval processes you might need to go through, can help you get started in reserving rooms.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of. They have your back with other faculty members or anyone else in the administration you have to get through to get your club organized, get your club official. But especially with reservation rooms, you got to have the club in the same place or people won't know where to go. Unless you have a weird, tournament thing. I don't know. I mean, esports does change rooms. I know
Esports, we sometimes change. It just depends on what kind of tournaments we're doing. If it's more PC intensive, we'll try, cross our fingers, to get a lab. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work, and we just end up in the same room. But we always try for at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. But all of that, they're the person you can go to at least first. And if they don't know the answer, they'll know who you can look to. New professors are actually really good for this because often they don't have a lot on their plate yet. So if you know a brand new professor who's in your department and who you jive with, they're hey, I'm starting a thing. Can you be my advisor? And the other big one, talking about advisors, talking about officer roles. Almost every club is going to need this by the rules of your university. It's a good thing to have in general, and that is you need a constitution. You need to have not just the mission statement, all of these are vital. Rules and how to enforce them. We will come to that later, but it is when issues happen, because eventually they always do, even if you hope they won't. It's what you will not want is to have to, on the fly, decide how to get out of a sticky situation with trouble with individuals in your organization, and you have to go off of your own quick decisions, as opposed to saying, it's in the Constitution, so we're gonna stick to that, right? If you make it up on the fly, you don't have that kind, a Constitution there gives you a backbone for that. Also good to have your election procedures, because it reminds you that elections are coming up.
Yes, we're a democracy, not a communist nation.
Yeah, or if not election procedures, just line of succession. Because again, you don't want that turning into a popularity contest unless that's literally written down in your Constitution that like, hey, it's a popularity contest.
That'd be funny.
Good luck.
And you also want all those officers, you want them in there and you want something written down of what it is they're required to do. Again, because someone's not doing what they're supposed to do, the last thing you want to have to do is judge it on the fly when you can say, these are your responsibilities, this is what we were asking you to do, you've not provided. Like, a Constitution is really a backbone to help your organization down the road. Like, if you don't want to need it and not have it. So, like, it's pretty crucial. Also, no more bad memes for the rest of the panel.
Aww.
Shame.
So that's kind of like the dry stuff. That's like the hard cut requirements.
Congrats, you made it through. Yay!
Yay!
Now we get to talk about fun stuff.
Yeah, as we start moving, now we're talking about like running the dang thing. So I think I actually say those words. So yeah, we're getting started. So the thing about nerd culture is I think we can all agree it's like one of the most beautiful and magical things in the world. Like, I don't know how you guys feel, but like to me, MAGFest, every time I drive by the Gaylord, like I'm like, it's MAGFest. Like it could be in the middle of like summer. It's like that's where we all gather, right? Like that's where the thing happens. Like that's where nerd culture.
That's
is.
consecrated ground.
Yeah, like
That's holy worshipers.
Like that's a bonfire. I can refill my Estus. Like
Yeah. I can see the ghosts and the messages.
So the thing is, it genuinely brings people together, so you really want to make sure your club does too. Mm-hmm. Like really, when we say cast a wide net, I mean like recruit everybody you possibly can. Like tell everybody about your club.
I have something to say about this. So when you are pitching your club to people at activity fairs, I learned this trick from Nathan. Anyone that walks by you is a potential club member.
Yeah.
Every single person. I don't care if they even looked at you. You're fishing them in. You're reeling them in. You're gonna be like, hey, do you like games? Hey, you don't like games? Do you like writing? Do you like art? Do you like music? And you're dragging them into your elevator pitch or your mission statement until you can get them interested in your club and try to get them to sign up to the first meeting. And hey, that's how you make it.
We at SU Esports are more classy, so we don't go to them. They come to us.
They come to us.
No, for sure though. Cast a wide net, even if they might not be, like for us, they might not be a competitive gamer. They might just be like, hey, I just want to play for fun. Sure, come on in. Hey, don't really care about the competitive esports scene? Oh, you want to do Twitch stream? Yeah, come. We invite everyone.
Yep. We've got a couple of members of our own who like video games and board games weren't their thing, but they started coming to a club thing because we yelled a lot, and now they like it. It was positive yelling. It wasn't like angry yelling, but like,
No, it was a mix.
I angry yell. He doesn't know this, but I angry yell.
and also just on a pragmatic level, we all know that when finals happen, your attendance starts to drop. So on a pure numbers game, the more you have at the start, the more you'll have at the end.
You'll have a few diehards. I mean, the people in this room right now, they're my diehards. I mean, there are diehards. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but like, there's a wide majority of people. And note on attendance, just a note. Do you remember the number that Nathan said at the beginning on how many people were there for the first year?
Yeah, eight.
Eight. So now we have around a regular attendance of 25 to 30 members.
Yep.
Regular attendance, not on fun game nights. So
Yeah, and it's slated to grow still.
it's growing. It'll always grow.
Yeah. So here is everything we've come up with for where you should go to recruit new members. We're going to run through a list a little on the quick side, but so activities, fairs, admitted students day. The gist of those two, straight up, freshmen are your friends. I know that's not a statement that gets said a lot on college campuses, but now it is getting said. Freshmen are your friends.
A little creepy.
Yeah. The reason being is because freshmen, especially when they hit the campus, they're the ones who don't already have a bajillion things to do. Like you think about, like when you get to senior year, right, you're probably already like at least in an organization or two. You might be running it. You also are probably in your like highest senior level courses. Like the last thing you might want to do, again, mileage may vary, people change or fit different descriptions, but if you come up to the wrong person and like they're like, I'm busy, like I've got plans, I've already made all my friends, but freshmen are still looking to make friends and find a place that they belong, and that's why they're the people who are great to go to. Other ones I love, like if you like do posters, sidewalk chalk. Find out from your advisor what the regulations on posters and sidewalk chalk are, but do those. If you have friends who give tours, if you give tours, if you work as new student orientation, bug the new students who are coming into that.
We always get people. I mean, if you're friendly to them, they want to see your face again.
Yeah. We have a couple students in the club who like literally said they saw Grace or myself at like a new student orientation event. In a couple cases, it was like coming to visit the campus, and Grace and I were doing an event where we plugged it, and we plugged our club hard enough that made them decide they wanted to come to Salisbury University. So like, hit the new people because they are looking for a place to belong, and you can say, belong here, and like, oh cool, and we'll join you. So things you should advertise, in particular, again, note this, we keep kind of going back to the mission statement, but like, what is your club? Like, what is it you do? Who are you people? What are you know, what are your meetings like? What's the vibe? Is attendance every week mandatory? Is it kind of laid back? You come when you need to. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to doing for the rest of the semester? When is your first meeting? Because you're going to make your first meeting a big event, which we'll talk about it again in a minute. When are your regular meetings? Like give flyers they can tack up on the boards. All of these things, you want to give them all of this information so that, and as concise as you can, say no, what it is, so you can say that sounds cool, and then where they go to do the cool thing. Mm-hmm. So story time. So I used to work at TJ Maxx. And I learned a decent lesson while working there that I kind of brought to how we've tried to run or tried to recruit more people in the SU Indies. And so the thing you're taught when you're working in probably any retail job, TJ Maxx was big on it, who I do not represent. And that was, they were really big on customer service, but in particular, they were big on making sure that you spoke to every customer who came in the store, like everyone. Not like literally like you go around and say hi to everybody, but making sure that if someone comes through the store, they feel like they're interacted with by some associate. And the reason being is because like you, in doing that, although, you know, I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to be talked to when I go into a store, but for a lot of customers, like feeling noticed does a lot. Like just feeling like someone said, hey, how are you? And you know, is there anything I can help you with? Like, it's that extra little bit of attention that makes them not feel like, you know, I just went to this place and left, and more, they had a moment of, you know, someone tried to help them and do a positive thing for them, and at least offer something towards them. So I took that philosophy and I brought that idea to the SU Indies. And so that's why with your first meeting, you should, or your officers should, or talk to a couple of your friends beforehand, should talk to every person who walks in that door. Everyone should have somebody ask what their name is. And fun fact, you might notice, we actually kind of did that with this panel as well. It's pretty easy to notice because like there's not many people here in the panel, but like
I could do everybody's names in this panel right now.
Everyone.
Don't count on me, I can't.
I can't either. It's past midnight. Everyone who came through this door that wasn't someone we already knew, we try to acknowledge and say hi to.
Sorry.
So we're clear that that's not a fake thing. That's a no, genuinely also hey, we're doing a panel at MAGFest. We're excited for that, and we want to take the excitement we have, share it with you guys. If you're passionate about the club you create, take that excitement and passion and share it with the people who come to your meeting. And then afterwards, pitch your vision. Again, it all comes back to the mission statement and Infinity War.
I don't know how those two correlate. Oh, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. You want to be able to give the new people who come in something concrete to look forward to. So again, I kind of did that with this panel in that by starting, I told you guys how we're going to format the panel, how we're going to try and give advice over the course of the panel. And that was done intentionally because I wanted you to all know this is what you have to look forward to. Because hopefully it gives you a reason to stay through the panel in much the same way that saying, hey guys, so next week this is what we're doing, we're really excited, it's a cool thing to, in a couple weeks we have our game night and we're doing this special event in a couple weeks. If you have any kind of events you're doing, plug them. Plug them, because it's something to look forward to. Because when you don't have something to do on a Saturday night, you can remember, oh, we went to that club meeting there's a tournament, there's a mentor tournament for Overwatch going on, maybe I'll just crash in and see what's going on, you know what I mean? It does a lot, because it gives you something to do, and if they don't know it's available to them, and if you aren't pushing that,
yeah,
they're never gonna go to it. The big philosophy that we really I know Indies does it, I know esports does it, we try to pitch is, an open door is not enough. What we mean by that is we have, these are not the only two nerd clubs on Salisbury University's campus. There are a lot more. And collectively, between a lot of our members, we have friends with either other members or in some cases, the leadership and the presidents of those organizations. And one thing that commonly gets said with a lot of nerd organizations is, oh yeah, anyone's welcome to come in. Anyone can come in at any time. Anyone can come through the door in this room right now.
Please? No, I'm just kidding.
But to that point, right? If you're not doing something to invite people through the door, it's nothing to encourage them. So if they're not already interested and genuinely oh, that sounds cool, it's a game development club, no one's gonna come through.
Yeah.
But if you have someone who's standing out saying yo, amazing club in here, they're at least gonna look. They might be weirded out because you're shouting at them, but it.
Dang, I wish we did that for the panel.
We
I
should
would've been out
have
there.
done that for the panel.
I know, both of us are thinking that dang, I wish I could have stood at the door and yelled at random people walking by.
Yeah, if you walk into a club thing and you sit down and everyone's making a bunch of inside jokes and you don't know anyone there, you're sitting there hoping you're gonna make friends, but if someone talks to you right out of the way, it's oh hey, what's your name? I'm Nathan.
Did you just have a conversation with yourself?
I
looking at me and
I was looking at you and helping you bounce back.
But you
Hi Nathan, my name's Eli. How are you?
She's got all her inside jokes.
I guess she does.
You didn't even give me a chance to respond. You were just I'm Nathan. I'm oh, okay. I'm Nathan too, I guess. Literally Nathan too. All right.
So, but if you're not doing that, right, again, having that moment, even if it's as awkward as that was, guaranteed they remember it, right? So at the very least, they're well, I laughed once, so at least that's something, right? That's the kind of thing you want to bring.
Oh, you can. I'm sorry.
Take it.
I love this
Take
slide.
it.
Hey, hello.
Take it.
So.
Preach it.
Thank you, Eli. As first semester president of the SU Indies, I've learned a lot in my first semester that I didn't know by directly being president. And the first thing that's most important to your organization is your well-being and health. Thank you. If you are not mentally and physically able to do this job, don't volunteer for it. Don't volunteer for it. I'm not saying that I regret it. I'm just saying, in general, if you don't think you're going to be able to devote the time and heart and spirit to this, someone else in the club can step up. Because you need to focus on, we're here at school to get a degree. The club is your social life. It is part of your social life. It should not override the rest of your social life, but it can be a majority of your social life, but it is secondary to club or to sports. School. Wow, that was everything else besides school. Wow. It's
If
midnight.
your grades aren't good, think of it this way: if every university, if you don't keep your grades up, like you don't get to stay at the university, you don't get to stay part of the organization, and on top of that, you're dropping a lot of money for the degree. So like, might as well put some effort towards that.
Yeah, honestly. And the number one thing, if you're the president or a high-ranking member as an exec board or whatever you think you are, you got to be a role model for your fellow students and club members, not just the people in your club, but also the people outside your club. You are representing your organization wherever you go, even if you're not in club time. If you're walking down, like, I don't know what avenue, college, any college avenue where a bunch of students at your school are, they'll recognize you, especially if you're wearing the shirt of the organization, or if you're with other people from the organization and you're loud and proud as much as we are. I mean, if you're not being kind and nice to other people, your organization's going to earn a reputation, and that's not what you want.
Yep. There is the rule I've always said, because like again, we've dealt with other organizations who have had their own issues, and anytime I ever had to complain, even with friends about it, it always came from a level of respect, because that's not the culture we want to bring into our club. Like when you are creating a club, you are creating a culture. That's why we put it like in the title of the panel, is you have to define what your club is, and it's not just about the vision, but it's the kind of people you want, in the sense of the way you want people to interact with each other, right? A club isn't just, oh, we make games, oh, we play we play competitive games. It's not just, oh, we're bad at art. It's the people in it and how they interact. And depending on how you facilitate that culture, it can be something wonderful and amazing and as beautiful as this convention, or it can be a whole other kind of mess. So
It's based on respect. Respect yourself, respect others. That's all you got to know.
So,
Bottom line. Sorry.
Respect.
yeah.
RESPECT. I know what Urkel means to me.
So, yeah.
Sorry, that was my segue.
Yeah, so,
Thank you, I like it.
yeah, we gotta have a quick chat. Grace, you want to take this?
Yeah, hi. Hi, my name's Grace.
Hi,
That's me.
Grace.
Hi, guys. All right. So I kind of want to talk to, I think this is not a big problem, but a big thing that needs to be said about nerd culture. I'm a nerd. I will go down the street yelling, I am a nerd. But this is one of the things about being a nerd that sometimes is a negative side. The struggle is real for us women out there. I know I'm not being social justice warrior. I just want to be honest. And especially if you're trying to build a club, an organization, and a community, you got to be very accepting of all sorts of genders, sexualities, et cetera, et cetera. But speaking as a woman from a woman's perspective, especially as club president, I have a question for the women in the audience. Hey, ladies. How many people here, women especially, have felt uncomfortable at any nerd event? I'll take that one hand. Oh, two hands.
Two hands. Yeah.
Two hands.
Yep.
It just comes with being a female. It's not. I'm not saying it's inherent in nerd culture, but it is a dark side that we got to talk about. We wanted to be what women want in nerd clubs, in nerd organizations, in nerd community is just to be treated like a fellow nerd, just a person. We're people like you. I'm not going to go in detail about my experiences because I've had a lot of experiences with this. It's complicated. It's very complicated. But what really needs to happen is just we want to be a part of the community just like everybody else. Just treat us like everybody else. If you're interested in making a club and organization and you're interested in attracting all sorts of people, especially women, we just want to be included. You just got to be more gender neutral. I mean, I say it all the time, especially like "Let's go, boys" or "How's it going, boys?" I mean, it just kind of slants it to one way, and you're like, oh, hey, I'm here too. But it's not a really big problem, but it's just a way to include the other women in your organization. Another point is be eager to engage. I am the girliest girl ever. And one of the things I have planned for this winter break is to play the KFC dating simulator.
Woot woot.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. So yes, it's a real thing, and it is a really girly. Dating sims are so girly, but it's a girly side of gaming. But you can engage in interest. I mean, you could be like, if I could say like, hey, yeah, I'm interested in playing this KFC dating simulator. If you're trying to engage, be like, there's a KFC dating simulator?
Colonel Sam.
I can date Colonel Sanders. But I mean, there's always something to talk about. We're nerds too. We love games too. I mean, I could talk about Fire Emblem all day. I could talk about Persona all day. All of these are RPG games. I could talk about other stuff like Overwatch, briefly. But I'm there. I'm there for you. I want to be part of the conversation, and that's just what every other female in this community wants to as well. So, hey, like I said before, respect. Respect your fellow man.
Yeah.
Like man as in human.
We bring this, we really, like, we wanted to be sure we talked about this because, like, I think we can all acknowledge, like, no one here is insinuating that, like, nerd culture is itself inherently a sexist thing, but I think we can inherently say that there is sexism in a lot of nerd culture. There's a lot of xenophobia, there's a lot of homophobia, there's a lot of racism, like, all of that dig through the internet. And the thing is, like, that is not what nerd culture is, but unfortunately it is in nerd culture. Mm-hmm. Does that difference make sense? So even to Grace's point, like, it bugged me on a fundamental level. There's a classmate I had who was president of one of the nerd organizations on campus, head of a competitive organization on campus, not SU Esports. But we would, after an activities fair, he and I would often talk about running clubs because he ran his, I ran mine. And one of the things that he would like talk about is, we never seem to get more girls in the club. And I've been to his club meetings. A lot of our members went to his club meetings, and Grace went to his club meetings.
I don't want to talk about it.
And with just new members, regardless of their gender, and then it was worse if they were a girl, like, you'd see, like, either constant ogling or constant, like, shit-talking. And, like, I mean, actively, like, a girl's playing a game and the guys staring behind her are staring either because they're, like, critiquing everything she does because she's awful at it and, like, oh, some girl showed up, or they're like actively like ogling and talking about her, or they're posting about it on the public Facebook group for the club. Yeah. Like when you have a member of your organization who, like, actively on your Facebook page talks about how he hates women, and then you don't, as a leader, think, maybe we should address that. Maybe that's not the culture that I want as part of what I'm building here. If you don't want to, we talk about it a lot, this one in particular, because a lot of us like that competitive game. It's a really popular competitive game that is known for having a toxic community behind it. But anytime we talk to this guy about it, like, he's like, I just don't know what to do. And we say, well, this is what you have to confront people. Like, you have to engage in, unfortunately, a conflict. He's like, well, I don't really want to. And it's like, well, the thing is, you have to think about, who do you care more about, right? Do you care about the people that you want to come into your organization, and do you want more people to come in and feel safe and have a good time? Or do you want to avoid a conflict with the person who's making things worse for everybody else?
Yeah.
Is what it really comes down to.
It's an unfortunate part, but it's something that everyone, if they want to be a part or a leader of a club, you have to be aware of. Not just for women in the organization, but anyone else who wants to join your community. It's just something to acknowledge. Ooh, can we take questions?
Yeah.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, Rosie.
Hi, Rosie.
Hi, Rosie.
So to address a lot of people don't like conflict. I love it. So yeah, great leadership.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was addressing conflict. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Well, so have you found a strategy to proactively address these issues? Do you think because I'm you pay attention, you're like, this guy's gonna be a problem. There's a woman around, just you talk to the guy first, or do you just play the reactive game?
I wish. Trust me, that would make life much easier for us. But So the
yeah.
So the question was, just to repeat for the audio, is that is there a proactive way to conflict? Like, if you know a problem will rise, can you stop it beforehand? And I want to say there's no clean answer to that.
Yeah.
But for sure, it always depends on situation. But more often than not, it's really hard to be proactive to it, because sometimes it just comes out and blindsides you. But
Yes.
if you do notice some signs, there are definitely ways where you can address it. Just by taking the guy over one-on-one chat, or just talking. He's like, hey, I've noticed I'm a little bit concerned, just wanted to mention it, let's go back to having fun type of thing.
Razi, you said, and you mentioned that you like conflict. Yeah. You're not afraid of conflict, yes. One of the parts of being a leader or in the organization is you have to stand up for yourself, but you also, they're part of your community. You don't want to bar them for the community for something that you think they might have done or that they have not done yet. So it is really a reactive game as well. But it's not something that we want to, it's something that you immediately, hey, we see it, we're just gonna keep watch on it, but we have to step back and let what happened happen. But if you see like a bonfire going on, you gotta put it out.
One of the best things you can do, at least that I find, is this is why creating that culture right away is so important. Because then you are not alone in it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like it is, because I find a lot of times there's a lot of social awkwardness in nerd culture. And so sometimes it's not knowing how to express and interact. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna be crass because that gets an easy laugh. And so I do that a lot, and I keep doing it because hopefully it'll keep getting laughs. And an easy thing is if you create the culture where you're like, okay, like, look, a lot of people in their younger days have said things that are less than appropriate because because you're young and stupid.
Who
And
hasn't?
that doesn't make it right, but we learn from our mistakes, and by building a culture where you don't tolerate that, then it makes us that person at least is way less likely to feel comfortable exhibiting that behavior in your community because they don't laugh at it, they don't seem cool about it, they don't seem to like it. Why am I showing, you know what I mean? Like if you're not gonna try and be cool in front of a cop by saying hey, do you wanna see how well I can stab a person? That's not gonna get the cop to like you more in that context, because culturally, he's probably not gonna appreciate that. You know what I mean? But if you take that kind of idea to it, that's one of the best steps you can do, at least to show it's not welcome here. And that's why if someone's bringing criticisms to you, you have to address it to show where your stance is, which again, for the Constitution's nice, because then you also have ways to handle it.
Hey, you're violating this. If it really comes to that, if the one-on-one doesn't go well, and you have to bring out hey, if you want to be a part of this club, you have to follow, you have to be respectful, you have to be blah, 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 and it's all in the Constitution. If they want to take it up with you, tell them to go online and look at, or wherever you have your Constitution.
We don't want to make it a trashing on nerd culture thing. The thing is, nerd culture is better than that stuff.
That's why we're all here today.
Yeah, nerd culture is truly a beautiful and great thing, but unfortunately, that exists in it. Cool? So, well, not cool, but yeah. So, we want to talk, last thing we really want to talk about is we want to show you guys some of the things that we've done, because I know we've got about 10 minutes left on the panel, and I know there's another panel with a 30-minute gap after this one, so we'll go for a little bit, and then we'll be free to talk about questions. But we want to run through some of the things that we've done and how we think it does well. So you really want to try and facilitate friendships any way you can. This is how we do, this is our second meeting every single semester, and I would hope it is the second meeting, it will be the second meeting of every semester until the end of time. This is what we call Liars Night.
So what better way to make friendships than backstab your friends? Oh my gosh, it's the best idea, 10 out of 10.
So for our first meeting is the interest meeting, the second meeting, because we're all about game design, and a lot of people haven't played designer board games, part of what we show board games a lot because I can't teach everyone to program in an hour-long optional club meeting once a week, who are all coming at different skill levels. So we introduce people to that by playing a bunch of social deduction games, the kind of games where you sit around a table with a large group of people and try and figure out which one's lying. So literally the whole thing is just interacting with and talking to other people and trying to read them and making memories, and a lot of club memes come out of Liars Night.
I've got to say, Liars Night, is the way that the quiet people in the back of the room become the most dangerous people in the
Yeah,
room.
they really do.
And they also become the people who stick around the longest. Yes, Paul, I'm looking at you.
This one's the only one I don't have a real photo for. We actually stole this idea from MAGFest. Hi, MAGFest. But it is legit, like, one of the things I'm the most proud of that we do. So what we wanted to bring, we wanted to make it so that people could be more positively express themselves, again, getting past that armchair design stuff. Excuse me. So 5 minutes start of every club. I told Grace and our other officers, I'm like, okay, here's the way it's gonna work. You have 5 minutes to talk about a game. Any game you want. A game you love, a game you're passionate about it, talk about it, and talk about why it's amazing and great.
Or perhaps a game you hate, perhaps a game mechanic you don't like. Talk about it. You're passionate about it, might as well say about it.
So, yeah, we're short on time. We wanted to create opportunities to do new things and see new things. So we started going to, this is an amazing festival if you get the chance, called Unpub. It's the Unpublished Board Games Festival. Just Google Unpub. I think Unpub 10 is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, we were focused on game design. We wanted to bring students to a place where they could play a bunch of board game prototypes with real developers on unfinished board games.
It's a great networking opportunity.
Yeah.
Because we're all about game development as a future job.
Like, imagine the tabletop space, but instead it's all indie devs, and they cycle out on rotations through the weekend. Like, and for a lot of our members, it was their first con experience, even though it's obviously much smaller than MAGFest is. We wanted to create memories. And so that's why we started doing the game nights. They're basically LAN parties, but these days, if you advertise to a whole campus community, no one's gonna know what a LAN party is. So we set up, we rented out, not rented out, but we collaborated with our student center, got them to bring in a popcorn machine. They gave us a big room. We set up tables with board games, giant Jenga, and we told people, bring your consoles, bring your favorite games. I don't care if it's Halo 3. I don't care if it's Marvel vs. Capcom. I don't care if it's Bomberman 64. I don't care if it's Shaq Fu. Bring it. And like, it's our biggest event we do every single semester because it brings people from campus. We encourage teamwork. This is one of my favorite meetings as well. We set up a scavenger hunt all around campus. And we told people that to cash in on the scavenger hunt, you had to take a selfie with your group at the key location. That there's our mascot, Sammy the Seagull, and then post it in our club's Discord. And the aerial shots are where the club president was hiding on the 3rd floor, taking photos of everyone from above because he was hiding because they were going to come looking for him.
That was Nathan.
Yeah, that was fun.
Gets a lot of good meme photos.
Yeah, there's a lot of good.
A lot of good blackmail photos. I mean, yes.
This was a big one. You really want to try and get involved in the campus community. If you bring prestige to your club, you can bring prestige to your university. If you bring prestige to your university, it comes back to your club. Because administrators and higher-ups and faculty recognize you, they recognize your club, and it helps. When I say grease the wheels, that implies bribery. It's not that, but it helps them recognize that you are trying to do good things and build a good community, and it makes them more likely to hear at least your story and help you in creative ways to do more.
Yep.
Examples of what we did was we participated in recycling collection, community cleanup events, new student orientation, and yeah, this year y'all did the cherry stream.
Oh,
I'm very excited about this. So we did a 24-hour charity stream as one of our big events for this semester, and it was crazy and amazing, and I want to do it. If I could, I would do it every single semester, every single week, because it was the most fun I've ever had. It was also really crazy. But we did a 24-hour live stream. Collaborating with SU Esports. SU Indies charity was the Eastern Shore Mission of Mercy, which is a dentist clinic for people who can't afford dentistry on the Eastern Shore. And all the proceeds that we got for the stream, we cut in half, and esports, their charity was Breast Cancer Research Foundation. We split whatever we got in half, donated it to the charity, and played games. It was an excuse to play games for 24 hours. What can I say?
If you are doing a 24-hour live stream, make sure you're prepared. Very much so.
I prepared so much.
Yeah, it wasn't enough.
And it wasn't enough. I lost sleep
So
over
on
it.
SU Esports side, what we did for the charity stream, we had all the hookups, everything, like all the streaming capabilities and all the camera work. We tried making sure everyone had games, and then we worked on shifts. We recommend that if you try to do 24 hours, do shifts. You can't stay up 24 hours. It's not going to be fun. We had some people try. They passed out. We had to drag them out.
That was me.
It was
that
some
was
good
that was
stuff.
literally me.
Yeah, but
The
it is a
president-
lot of fun. It's just a lot of work.
yeah.
So with all of these and with every one of these events, that's why it kind of links back to having a good officer foundation, having a good baseline, because they are at your back whenever you need them, and especially when it comes to big event organizations and even small meetings. Whenever you need, you might be sick one day. I mean, that happens. We get sick. Don't get mag flu. But it happens, and you might need one of your other team members or staff members to come up and do the meeting for you. So it all kind of links back to having that good foundation. But these events are a lot of fun, and they definitely garner a lot of attention, though stressful.
You want to show your members something new. Show them things they've never seen before. We did a RPG month in the month of October. A lot of our members had never played a tabletop RPG, so we center all our design meetings about designing tabletop RPGs. That culminates in our favorite 2 nights of the year, which were our Dread Night. Dread is a tabletop RPG you play with a Jenga tower to simulate the tension of a horror experience. It's a lot of fun if you've not played it. But we had one night in which I ran the campaign, which is the one on the left. And then we have one where our advisor runs the campaign.
Get closer to the mic.
Oh, sorry. One in which our advisor runs the campaign, which is the one on the right. And when I say we had an advisor who is very interested in the success of the club, he's the hooded robe figure who looks like he's running a cult. That's
it
how
is.
into this event he got.
Yeah, it's a cult.
Shh, we're not supposed to tell them that.
Darn it.
And then we want to show them what they're capable of, what they can do. And for the SUNEs, the biggest thing we do is our game jams. Because, everyone talks about how they want to make games, but we wanted to say, no, make games.
Hey, let me give a quick thing. I know we're kind of wrapping up here soon, but specifically with Game Jam, I participated in a Game Jam, and this was my first semester with the SU Indies, and I'm like, oh, a Game Jam, that sounds like fun. I suck at making video games. Wait, I have to code? What is this? So I'm like, all right, I can be part of a group. Perfect. I'll be part of a group. I won't have to do anything. I'll just do art. I can do that. I can draw pixels. Oh, wait, I'm part of a group I'm the only one that knows how to code, kind of. Well, I guess I'm learning a coding language in 2 days. Did I mention I have 48 hours to make this game? I don't know. Oh, great. I made a game. It was
It was.
decent, in my opinion. Other people told me it was great, like a gemstone, which I don't believe them still to this day. But it was a great time, and you are more capable than what you might know.
Mm-hmm. So at the moment, we're currently out of time for questions, but we will chill and hang out and talk out there, please. So the main things we really want you to take away is be passionate of what you are doing, be proud of it. You are creating something amazing. You are creating a community like this, and you are going to be able to share it with other people, and that's an amazing, it's one of the most fulfilling things of my experience. I know for you it has. I know for you it has.
Oh, man.
And for our club members as well, they're proud to be members of the SU Indies. They're proud to be members of SU Esports. Be proud that you are giving them that. Protect that, right? Be sure that it's a respectful community that everyone feels safe and happy in and comfortable in. Because at the end of the day, you are building not just a club, but a community and people who exist in it. And then, of course, have fun with it.
It's a club.
Yeah.
It's also your family.
Yeah. So that's all we have to say. GG's, everybody. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.